Hello, I'm going to read to you my critical essay assignment about the Oxford High School campus mass shooting. Okay, critical essay by Andrew Thomas Convoy. Okay, you're supposed to go over this case as a prosecutor, as a defense attorney, and then as your opinion. So here I go. A prosecutor is, as a legal officer who is representing the state of Michigan in criminal proceedings, I would have not brought charges against the Crumbleys, because it sets a slippery slope of case law precedent for all residents residing in the state of Michigan. This case attacks their right to carry a firearm as a law-abiding citizen. As a prosecutor, if I was politically pressured by the state to bring charges, I would argue to the jury and to the court that if I charge one set of parents with involuntary manslaughter, then it is my duty to charge all parents who have children under the age of 18 and keep a gun in their home in the state of Michigan and across the United States of America with premeditated manslaughter. For example, news reports from this story state Ethan used the word demon in text messages, which was used against him and his parents. If we go by case law method, then anyone who reads the Bible, which talks about demons and angels, could also come under the scope of case law. The charges I would bring would be directed at the administrators who did have knowledge. The administrators who did have knowledge of the mass shootings. The mass shooting was about to occur. They violated their contract of being mandatory reporters. I would charge all the adults and police liaison officer at Oxford High School with involuntary manslaughter and accomplices to domestic terrorism. The administrators at Oxford High School who received reports from students days before the shooting did nothing to stop and therefore are extremely liable. This fact is because the students were concerned that Ethan was going to commit a mass shooting inside their school, which they did the right thing and reported him. The administrators then confronted him for looking up bullets in class, which they notified the parents and had a meeting about it with Ethan. He should have been suspended or expelled that day on November 29th, 2021, because the next day he ended up committing the mass shooting. If they decided not to suspend him, then his backpack should have been searched every day he came to school after this incident. It is only fair that I charge all administrators who are mandatory reporters under contract with the state of Michigan. The shooting could have been prevented before it happened if the school administrators did their job and mandatory reported the child. They chose to neglect their duty in a leadership position and look the other way. As a prosecutor, I would ask all the administrators at the high school be given double the sentence than the Crumbly parents. As a defense attorney, now we flip sides here, I would immediately file an affidavit of dismissal in order to show cause by citing the fruit of the poisonous tree. For the simple fact this case was tainted and distorted by being politicized across national media. The first line of questions I would ask the judge is, number one, is he or she a Democrat or Republican? Number two, I would ask the judge if he took an oath to uphold the United States Constitution. Number three, I would ask the judge if he went to a church. Number four, I would ask the judge if he has received payment in United States dollar, which is a foreign-owned currency. This line of questions would put almost all judges in America in a serious legal conundrum. I would make my case to the judge and jury that my clients did not receive a fair trial for the sole fact their story has been tainted by politically charged news media. I would argue to the judge before the trial ever started that we cannot bring politics into law, and the law must stay out of politics. I would argue there is a separation of church and state, and demons cannot be brought into the court of law. I would plead with the judge, jury, and executioner that if we charge this set of parents with manslaughter, then we must charge all parents whose children commit crimes with the same charge. As a defense attorney, I would argue to the judge and jury that if we charge the Crumbleys with involuntary manslaughter, then we must charge the administrators at the school with the same, if not more, punishment. The administrators at Oxford High School were warned days before the shooting that the child was starting rumors of committing a mass shooting. Administrators brush these off, even though they are mandatory reporters with the state of Michigan regarding sexual exploitation and violence. In my opinion, I do not think the parents of Ethan Crumbly should have been charged with involuntary manslaughter since they were not at the crime scene. There was no act or guilty state of mind. It would be a slippery slope and would not protect the civil rights of all Americans. If the administrators would have listened to the concerned reports from other students, this would have been prevented. Every police officer across the country could therefore be charged with premeditated involuntary manslaughter just by carrying a weapon on their hip. Miller, Madison, Quinn, hope you have a great day, great weekend. Love you, girls.